Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Neca Predator line of figures. We're having a look today at Wasp Predator. With over 25 points of articulation, includes spear staff with impaled xenomorph head. It looks as if the Wasp Predator shares the same mold as Big Red, which was sadly a Predator figure that I just never got around to picking up. On the side of the packaging, speaking of Big Red, that appears to be Big Red on this side there as well. And down below, the artwork of Wasp Predator. On the back of the package, Wasp Predator, the read-up says, a member of the Big Red's clan. There we go. The Wasp Predator is a ruthless hunter whose flesh tones and skin patterns resemble those of the flying insect. He has even customized his bio to match, armed with wrist blades and his unique spear staff. The Wasp routinely decapitates his victims and mounts their severed heads atop his spear. When not hunting with Big Red, the Wasp takes flight in his customized Blade Fighter vehicle. His sole purpose is to hunt and exterminate every xenomorph he finds. Be also on the lookout for the Battle Armor Lost Predator. There's also the Thermal Vision Dutch, and of course the Wasp Predator that we're looking at today. Actually, as a side note, I noticed that on the packaging as well as the figure, it doesn't look as if he's got that middle black paint. Although on the back of the package, it looks like he's got that black paint there. Needless to say, though, what I am going to do is take a break. I'm going to get this open up, and when we come back, we are going to get a better look at the Wasp Predator. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. The accessory included with Wasp Predator is this incredible looking spear. Now, on the end of the spear is a severed head of a xenomorph. It looks really nice. Right down to the fact that down the side of the blade, they've painted it in, and even actually at the top of the blade, they painted in where you can see the blood of the xenomorph head down the sides of the blade. Really nice touch. And I gotta say, that's a great looking sculpt on a xenomorph right there. It makes the spear surprisingly not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. I thought with the xenomorph head, the spear was going to be quite heavy. And in fact, it's not the case. You can take the head and just peg it into his hand, though the hand is extremely small. In fact, let's bring the camera in there. The hand is a little bit small, so getting it adjusted, you have to do a little bit of finagling, but you can get him to hold the spear quite nicely indeed. Just removing the spear, just taking it back out of his hand here, and just pegging the hand back into place. Sometimes the hands will pop off, but you can easily just snap them back into place. Having a look, though, at the Wasp Predator, he's a gorgeous piece. I'm just, again, amazed by what Neca is producing with these Predator figures. They're taking regular classic Predators, which we've gotten a couple of figures from before, and they're really expanding out this line. It's these expansion lines that are impressing me the most. The Predator is cast, well, it's utilizing what looks to be the same body mold as like the classic design Predators, but it's definitely that paint that really makes this figure pop. He's kind of got a striped motif with the black, especially you can see on the arms, the black and the yellow. The two of them work really well hand in hand. And again, taking the initial idea of the classic Predator body, by adding this extra yellow, a lot of this figure stands out so much. As for the head, it does appear that it is the same head as the Big Red, slightly painted differently. I kind of wish that middle section here was in the black, kind of like on the back of the packaging. But it's nothing that you couldn't do with maybe just a bit of a touch-up paint, just add that extra bit of detailing. But the head is quite nice. He's still got his dreads, and those are all individually sculpted in. painted quite nicely as well. Now, with this particular Predator, one thing that you might also notice is he's missing his plasma caster shoulder cannon. It's gone. It's not even included in this figure. However, there is a peg point that even though this figure does not come with one, if you have an extra Predator figure with that caster, you could clip it on if you really wanted to. But I like that. Some Predators don't have it, some Predators do. In the case of the Hive Predator, he's relying more so in bladed weapons than he is relying on actual cannons, actual firepower. He does also still have the side blades, these two-sided blades that are on the side of his gauntlet. They're nicely detailed as well. They do retract slightly, enough to certainly impale or sever one of the heads of the xenomorphs that he can then mount onto his spear. Paint also that I want to bring to your attention is this blue. Just this little bit of accent blue that they put on the cloth section of his lower torso that carries slightly up at the top there as well. It's not a blue that really makes a lot of an appearance in this figure, but just that little bit of blue really brings out some of the extra details there as well. In the way of his articulation, the Wasp Predator shares similar articulation with the newer line of Predator figures. He does have a ball joint in the head. I love also the fact that you can get a ball joint in the head. Not only do you get a lot of articulation, but generally a lot of the Predators I have on display, I like to have their heads down. Just really low presence to the figures themselves. As for the shoulders, they are on a hinge and socket, so they rotate out, forward, back. He has a rotation and bend at the elbow. It's a little bit stiff, but a bend in the elbow, a rotation and pivot. Technically, the whole thing is a full movement in the wrist, being that it's a ball joint. He has a swivel in the waist, and then his legs go forward, back, out. A swivel, technically a swivel in the thigh, or in the knee, a bend in the knee, double bend actually in the knee. And then when you get to the lower legs, the foot swivels and pivots in the same sort of ball joint that is shown in the wrists. Just, once again, a really nice piece. Spot's really starting to collect more and more of these Predator figures, and they're impressing me every single time I'm seeing them. I like the inclusion of this spear. The xenomorph on the end is a nice touch as always. But, you know, it just goes to show that taking the movie Predator line, NECA has kind of done their own thing there and given us versions of the figures that we've seen in the movie. But above that, they're really branching off and giving us all these side tribe Predators. The coloring are all very unique from one another, that they're not just simply, let's take an existing figure and then just change out the head. By giving us different paint schemes, we're getting very distinct Predators from one another. The Wasp Predator, I think as a whole, worked really well, and I'm going to give it a 7.5. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the NECA Predator figures. We're looking today at the Wasp Predator. Don't be going anywhere, guys. Spot's going to have some more reviews of Predator figures heading your way. I thank you for watching, as you always do, and I'll see you guys next time.